If you've just joined us, we're talking about whether we have the right, we should have the right, the legal right, to be told if there's a sex offender moving into our neighborhood.
I wonder whether passing a law, such as you have described, would prevent sex offenders from committing their act if they were afraid of the consequences.
I asked that question earlier, and the response I got was no, because they're out of control, they can't control themselves, and therefore it doesn't matter what the outcome will be.
And you stated that Texas does castrate. Well,
I know, well, I should
only takes care of the sexual organs. It does not take care of other parts of the body.
No, but there, first of all, just to be fair to the state of Texas, I don't want people to think that everywhere in Texas there's castration going on. There have been some. And what it does is it lowers the level of testosterone in the body. And they have found with the, I'm sure you know more about this than I do, Carol, but they have found with these sex offenders and these pedophiles that they're not as apt to go out and repeat. And some of them really want to be castrated. But it is something that for most people really offends them and bothers them, and that's why we don't see very much of it in North America. How many would you like to see that? Yeah. All right.
I don't think it's a good enough deterrent, really.
I want to talk to Wilfred for just a moment. Wilfred, when people got these postcards and you put the ad in the paper and you said that you were coming into the neighborhood, what was their reaction? And Leslie, I know you're there with your dad. I'd like to hear, and you live with your father.
Yes, ma'am.
Just tell us, how did people react to your moving into the neighborhood? I don't think they bake cookies or anything, though, Wilfred.
Do I?
Can you hear me okay?
Okay.
Yeah, how did they react to you and Leslie moving into the neighborhood?
Nobody reacted to nothing. I mean, nobody told me nothing. I lived with my brother-in-law and my nephew, and a few kids in the neighborhood was talking to my nephew about it, but there wasn't really nothing said about it. They just, you know, wanted to know what the cards were for. And
there was nobody was angry, nobody threatened you, nothing like that happened to you?
No, not really.
Okay.
I want to ask Wilbert a question. He has a daughter, and she was once small. What would his reaction have been if someone had done something similar or worse to his daughter?
I'd have been very angry.
Then you know how everybody else feels. The families are your victims.
Wilfred,
but your family's a victim too.
How many victims
they're
does
all
this guy
suffering.
have?
He has, his family are victims because of the crime he committed. Everyone around him, relatives, they're all victims. This man has caused numerous victims, not just the two girls.
So you tell me that this guy's not going to be doing time for the rest of his life?
Hey, I have no sympathy for him, no. I have no sympathy for him.
Maybe
None.
he's not asking for sympathy, but he's not asking for a sign on his back.
The child is doing time for the rest of their life, too. That's right.
These scars are there, too.
I agree with
We're all human beings. Yeah.
Lawyers, we're all human beings.
But
Well,
why do you have to
and if you don't accept that, then how humane are you and how compassionate are you?
What about society?
I think the feeling is
we all live in it, and we have to come up with creative solutions.
What they're using to deter. And if this is the only means of a reliable deterrence in an offense or in a disease that isn't treatable, then I'm going for it.
I want to go back to something you said, Chris, earlier about the fact that people like Wilfred have a monkey on their back.
Is he a repeat offender?
No, no. This is a one-time offense. This is a one-time. People, sex offenders and pedophiles have put that monkey on their back.
Sure.
These children were the innocent victims. They never put a monkey on their back. The monkey was put on the back for them by these sex offenders and pedophiles.
Let me just say,
sex offenders were assaulted as kids themselves.
That is
that happened. That is true. That is really true.
Yeah,
thank you.
Chris's case, Chris will tell you that that's what happened to him.
That's
right,
what happened to me. Listen, when I was young, my older brother, I had to share a bed with him, so he abused me, and I became hey, thank you very much. Huh?
You said you didn't abuse her.
Abuse
you said
her?
you didn't even touch her.
What are you
He's talking about
you said you didn't rape her.
What are you talking about?
So why are you defending that?
I'm not defending that. I just finished saying that when I was small and I had to share a bed with my brother, he abused me.
No, I know, but you said earlier that you didn't even rape her, so why would you even make an excuse for something you didn't do?
I didn't say that I didn't touch her. We were both... I didn't say that.
You got charged for rape.
Let's roll something back here. I didn't say that I did not touch her. I said What I said was...
What did you say, Chris? Okay.
What I said was I didn't have sex. That's what I said.
So why are you making an excuse for something that didn't go on?
And hold it, it's not, because I was convicted, and I don't have no qualms about that. The thing that I was saying was, it's because I frightened her so much. But besides all that, I was convicted, and I did the time.
Ever a legitimate excuse.
Am I going to answer this or what?
He's not making excuses. Let me go to Leslie for just a moment. Leslie, you're 18 years old, and you were there when your father was sending out these postcards, had to put this ad in the paper to say he was a sex offender. What do you think about this law and what it's done to you and your dad? Because I understand, although your father told me just now that it hasn't really been bothersome to him. I understand you've had to move a few times because people found out.
I think it's stupid. I mean, if a person's innocent, I know my father's innocent, and I don't care what anybody says. I know he's innocent. He never tried nothing with me. I don't care what anybody says.
What about all right, I'm not going to argue with you about your father's innocence or his guilt, but he has been convicted. And what I want to know is, do you think that people like this, who do this kind of thing, should be allowed to move in a neighborhood without telling people?
I can understand if they were guilty, but not innocent.
And your father is innocent, you believe?
I know he is innocent.
I understand repeat offenders.
I got it. Sorry, Chris, I have to take a break here.
Okay.
Back in just a moment.